Hey, I'm Doc North. In this video, I'll be talking about the new 2.3 Spiral Abyss Floor 12 and some tips to get faster clears. So let's start with Chamber 1 first half, Electro Rift Hounds. They have a damage resistance of 20 to 25%. They have a Devour mechanic, which basically means is if you hit them with the same element, it lowers their resistance to that element. So if you hit Electro Rift Hounds in this chamber with Electro, it will lower their electro resistance and they will take increased damage, but they will be resistant to all other type of damage. So this is why it's recommended to use electro characters for faster clears, like Raiden teams, Sucrose Taser teams with Fischl and Beto, and Tartaglia Electrochart teams are all good for this. If you don't have Electro and your DPS is not high enough because of the resistance, try using an animo character with VV to shred that resistance. You can also put your back against the wall at all times, or try to at least, so they dash into it, so they're more easier to predict where they're going to go. Also, when you trigger their Devour, they will become more jumpy, so they'll move around a lot more than before, so keep that in mind. It's also really difficult to crowd control the big wolves, even with freeze, so that's just a pain. As of now, the only way to deal with them is putting your back against the wall, or try to at the very least. You can though CC the small Rift Hounds very easily with any animo character, so do that if you have an animo character and take advantage of that. For the second half, we have Geo Rift Hounds, pretty similar to the previous one. If you have a Geo DPS, use them here, you will have a slight advantage. Otherwise, it's much of the same really. For Chamber 2 first half, we have the two Geo Bishops. This has been here before in multiple Abyss rotations, and this is the easier side of this chamber, so try to save as much time as possible and try to clear this under 1 minute or less if possible, so you have more than 2 minutes if possible for the triple Kenki fight. And talking about triple Kenki, the second half has the 3 Magu Kenkis. From what I've heard and seen, the problem people face here is more about surviving and getting one shot rather than having enough DPS to clear it in time. If that's your problem as well, use shields, healers, or both. Make sure to time your burst iframes to avoid big hits, and just dodge forehead. I think the easiest way to not die in this fight is using burst iframes to try to have a bit more ER, and you'll have a much easier time, and obviously using a shielder and a healer at the same time will also make this a lot easier. Again, if you can clear the first half very quickly, that you have a lot of time to clear this floor, so you can build your teams more defensively and more focused on survival than DPS, as you do have a lot of time. You can focus on the regular Kenki or the Animo Kenki, and the others should follow or stay around you. They generally stay grouped, but there have been runs where one of them got separated, but for the most part I didn't have too much problems grouping them together. Remember, the Ice Kenki will put Cryo Aura on the ground and you will take tick damage, so keep that in mind and keep an eye on your HP. AoE teams are really good for this, as they generally stay grouped together and can be burst down together. So let's move on to Chamber 3, first half. For the 2 Ruin Machines, just stick next to the cruiser and the defender will jump on top of you for very easy grouping. For the Wolves is the same as before. Try and put your back against the wall and try to use Electro DPS characters, as these are Electro Rift Hounds. For the second half, we have Geo Rift Hounds and 2 small Rift Hounds. Again, you can take advantage of animo crowd control characters to very easily deal with the 2 small Rift Hounds, and then you only have to worry about 1 big Geo Rift Hound. Again, use a Geo DPS if you have them built, otherwise it's just a DPS check. The second wave is 2 Ruin Gods. This is also standard and has been in multiple Abyss rotations. It's just a AoE DPS check. And that's the 2.3 Spiral Abyss Floor 12. As we do this for longer, there might be more revelations and tricks discovered, and if that happens, I will post them here on the channel, so be sure to sub to the channel if you don't want to miss that. Hit that like button if this video helped you, and if you have any Abyss related questions or want team comp recommendations, leave a comment down below and I'll try my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, have a good one.